I finally finished my LED Doom Scythe. After all this time, I finally got it done. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I finished it and how it looks with my army. Here on Modeled. Okay, before we paint this thing, prime it, spray paint, we're going to have to cover these LEDs. And for that, I think the best thing is this reusable adhesive. So this stuff is pretty good. Use it for many things in modeling. Reusable. Around that thing. Let's try to get it so it just covers the LED and nothing else. Just going to do that with all the LEDs. All done. I found using sculpting tools helped get the putty around the edges here. And here I used Rust-Oleum's primer spray paint, the white primer. I think the primer was coat. And the secret base coat color I use for my Necron army is Reaper's Renown Blue. Now after a few light watered down coats, I got a nice smooth painted surface. Now for my secondary color, I'm using Games Workshop Demonette Hide base color. Now I'm going to give the whole thing a generous coat of Nuln Oil. Looks kind of sloppy, but most of that's going to be dry brushed over. Okay, now I skipped showing me to do on all the dry brushing, but here is the completed dry brushing step. And I used the three colors for that, with starting with the Renown Blue, and then a lighter blue, and a ghost white, as we can see here. And then for the purple, I just dry brushed it with the Demonette Hide again, and then sort of Wakala Lilac, just those two. You know, so I kind of emphasized the ghost white on the raised edges. And now to start the long, tedious process of doing all the crevices. A lot of Necrons are painted with the crevices painted just on the outside, but for my paint scheme I'm doing the inside. So I'm using number 1 Taklon white brush here, and I'm just using a normal Army Painter blue paint, and I'm just going through all the crevices with that. And I'm not concerned about getting the paint on the edges, because I actually want that for the effect, because in the center I'm going to go out with lighter white. And I'm using the ghost white again for this, and I'm using a very small brush. It's like one of the fine detail brushes. It's actually worn out, and it's just got a tiny little tip on it, so I can get right in there. And I have the ghost white watered down thoroughly. And as I go through here, you can tell I'm getting a little sloppy. It's getting on the edges and that. So just use your wet finger and kind of like smudge it off, and that kind of adds to the effect on the surface too. Kind of make it look good. And also, if you notice, like some parts are whiter than others, that sort of gives the effect of having like electricity running through it and such. So don't be concerned of not having it the same kind of thickness all around. And there's the completed lining there. I didn't show the silver parts there, and for that I used lead belcher as a base, and then I just highlighted it with the lighter metal colors from Games Workshop there. Doom steel in that. Okay, now for the purple crevices, I'm using a crafts paint from Michaels. It's green. It's good to have a set of craft paint on hand because you get a lot of colors. And in case you can't find your color with Games Workshop paints or whatever, just use this and it looks just fine. So I get a layer of the green, and then I'm going to highlight it with Games Workshop's Screaming Skull paint. I'm just going to go like in the centers there for those kind of lines. And for the other Necron symbols, I'm going to do it just like I did the symbols on the blue. Okay, now I'm going to use similar techniques for the weapons. So I'm not going to bother showing that. Okay, now I didn't LED the Tesla cannon, so I'm doing that now. I'm starting drilling. Glue the LED in the back there. And then we got some blue acrylic tubing, which I'm going to drill in and install in the front. Now I just take the tips off the Tesla cannon. I already painted them and I just cut them off. Drill a hole in the top just so the LED light can come through. And there's the finished weapons. And here's the finished painted product. I didn't show all the fine details of painting the Necron and everything like that. I just wanted to get the video quick. I'm trying to make these videos quicker than they have been. So looks pretty good. Now here I have everything just lined up, not connected. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to wire this thing so it's neatly wired. Now it's soldering time again, and the longer lead is the positive, so, and I use a red wire for the positive so I don't get things mixed up. And I always do the resistor to the positive. Here's the other gun. And I'm just going to clip all the leads. Okay, now I'm going to use heat shrink tubing. Cover up the messy wires. I didn't do that with the rest of my army, mainly because it's fairly expensive at Home Depot, and but on Amazon I found a nice huge pack of it for only 15 bucks. So got a bunch of different colors. It's very handy, this heat shrink too. It's got heat with the lighter and it conforms to the surrounding wire. Okay, now I'm putting another piece of heat shrink tubing. This is going to go on after the wire's soldered, so I got to get it on there first before I shrink the tubing. So you got to remember to do that, because a lot of times you'll forget. You'll solder it together, then I'll realize that, oh, now I got to put the tubing on. So I'm getting all the tubing on first, so that when I solder it, I can slide the tubing back over it and shrink the tube. Now I'm just gonna glue everything in place, so it's all ready to be connected to the main power supply. Okay, now all the positive is coming together. So I'm twisting them together into one, solder that. Then I'm going to take all the individual heat shrink tubing that I had ready to go and bring it down to the end there. Light it up. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the negative wires. Just tie them together, solder it, and heat shrink tube it. Now we're almost there. Now we're onto the battery pack. To start, I drilled a hole so that I could fit the 2 wires of my battery pack through. I have it coming up right in the front of it. Then I just crazy glued the battery pack to the base. You can see it's going to stick at the bottom, but we'll fix that later. Okay, now we need to put the heat shrink tubing on for the positive wires, and we need one for the negative wires, and we need one for both wires, which has to be a big one because it's got to cover all the wires together. So we'll just solder the positive, solder the negative, and then we'll just cover each, the positive, the negative with the heat shrink tubing. Lots of heat shrink tubing. Finally, we take that nice big piece, and we're going to go over all of it with that. Yeah, the kit I got on Amazon was really nice. It's got all these sizes. Really happy I found that. Now all those wires look kind of bad, so what I have to do to try to fix it up, make it look better, is a little black paint over everything. Okay, now I'm just going to glue the post to the base. And I'm going to pull the wire through, and I'm going to glue this access wire down with some crazy glue. Then I'm just gonna like glue the wire to the base, or to the peg. We're not done yet. Now we're just gonna use some sprues, measure them correctly so they just come past the battery pack, and we're just gonna glue them all around. Paint them black. Okay, now I did the base, Mechanicus standard gray. Wash that and dry brush that, and now the model's complete. I'm probably going to put some crystals, spruce crystals on there, but I'll do that another time. That's pretty much it. Looks kind of good. I like it. It was a tough model to build with all the electronics. I don't think I'm going to have 2 of them, just 1. So let's put it on the table with the rest of my army, and then light it up. You can see what it looks like. Okay, here's my army that I have so far before the lights are on. And here it is. lights on. It's about 2,000 points right now. With the new rules and the new point changes, it's actually exactly 2,000 points since 1998 or something. Now I'm doing other projects at the moment. I don't know when I'm going to expand my Necron army further, but I'm happy I got 2,000 points. So I could play any kind of game right now. Like I said before, I don't think I'm going to be getting another Doom Scythe, or making one anyways, because everything I make for this army has to be LED now. So I don't know what I'm going to do next with the Necron army. But right now I'm working on a Titanius Titan model, and that's going to be LED too, so that's going to come up shortly. One of my next projects. So that's about it. All the music is by Darren Manella, me, Omega Om, and the video too. So if you'd like to see more, appreciate you watching. Just subscribe and like. A lot more to come. I know there hasn't been many videos lately. This Doom Scythe model really set me back. Plus, I had lots of other stuff on the go. So, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more here on Modeled.